on today, guys? So today we're going to be talking about bearings, but not just any bearings. We're going to be talking about generic bearings and the differences between something like this, like, oh geez, where'd it go? Something more like this and this, compared to maybe something like this or a normal Bones Reds standard issue. And yeah, we're just going to be kind of talking about what makes these different than what most skateboarders will use. But yeah, so first and foremost, these will be a lot cheaper, and you can find them on sites like Amazon, Wish, Temu, and a lot of those will and most of them that will come off Temu or Wish or Amazon will look a lot of something like this with the black shield. Most likely it'll be an ABEC 9, and the ABEC number will cover a little bit later. But if you're really lucky, you'll get something like this, where it's just an all silver bearing. They're super cheap. Both of these are just super cheap to produce, being about $10 per 8 to 10 bearings. So about $1 a bearing. So yeah, just super cheap, super easy. They last a little while, but yeah, definitely half the time it's just easier to replace them than it is to maintenance them. But yeah, like I said, those are generally about $1 for a set of about $1 bearing for a set of 10, so it ends up being about $10 after being shipped. But yeah, once you get these shipped to your house, or find them just kind of wherever in a random skate shop, if skate shops sell them, you'll see like a little ABEC number. Let's see, I'm not really sure if you can. This one just says 50 RSR, I think, and then I think, which I think that's like rolls a second. But this one has little words. I'm not sure how well you can see it on there, but it has the word ABEC on there, and it more than likely has a number. And so yeah, once you get these bearings, you'll see the little ABEC, and then it'll be a number. And most of them will be a number 1 through 9. I've only ever seen it go up to 9. And but yeah, some common numbers are ABEC 3s, which get used at Walmart a lot, or ABEC 9s, which are usually most generic bearings. But yeah, I want to call these just generic bearings instead of skateboard bearings, because these do get used in a variety of different things. And I know a lot of mountain bikers use them to put them in the hubs of their wheels, which is a very common use for these. Or they're also used in a lot of like high precision machining, which you can just throw in some cheap bearings, which, like I said, these are about $1 a piece, like for each individual bearing, and you can find them just about anywhere. So yeah, the ABEC number is kind of more important for those high revving machines, and ABEC 9 is more what you're going to need for higher performing machines that are going to be rotating really, really high. And to get anywhere near the speed that you would need to make any use of the ABEC number in a lot of these bearings would be like 70, 80, 90 miles an hour, which a lot of skateboarders and longboarders just aren't going to be really using, and are really just not even going to be going quite that fast. Even if you're racing, you're still not going to be maybe going quite that fast. But yeah, but more than likely you're going to be using a bearing that looks like this, where it's a Bones Reds. This is a big ball, so that's why it has the turquoise shield on there, and it has this. This is usually a little easier to maintain, and you'll notice the little detail on there, if you can see it on the camera, where it says Bones Reds, made in China. And yeah, Bones Reds, China. And yeah, so what makes Bones Reds, or most skateboarding bearings like Bronson's or Pal Peralta's Reds bearings, are going to be that they're more geared towards for skateboarding, so they're going to be easier to maintenance. Definitely just in general, overall better bearing. And a lot of these generic ones are just going to be, well, they're going to have a lot of the same sizing as like the Bones Reds, but a lot of these generic bearings just come in a variety of like sizes, which would get confusing after a while if you're just looking for generic bearings. But yeah, so Bones Reds or any standard issue bearing really is going to be all universal, going to be on the axle, and is definitely just going to fit a lot easier into your wheel. I've definitely had some generic bearings with fitment issues into wheels, that definitely should not be a thing. But if you do get a brand name bearing like Reds, Bronsons, they're definitely guaranteed to fit, which is going to be really, really nice, especially you don't have to think about it. You just pop them in your wheels and you're good to go. And definitely you can get all the way up to ceramic, which is going to provide a lot nicer roll. Ceramic is just going to be a little more durable for higher speeds and that are more common in longboarding. And so what makes the ceramics different than the generic ABEC 9s is that the ceramics are just going to be able to withstand a lot more of wear and tear that you would see mostly like in longboarding, where just it's those high speeds going left, right. And so, yeah, but it's going to just handle overall the skateboarding tolerances a little bit easier. And yeah, you're definitely going to be able to get those, yeah, these roll like garbage, but yeah, you're just going to be able to get a little more longboarding or skateboarding wise out of ceramics than you would the generic bearings. And the generic bearings just have to go in like one direction continuously as opposed to left, right, or just down a hill, and be able to handle. So they're not really going to be good for sliding, which is going to happen in a lot of longboarding. But yeah, definitely if you're going to be, in my personal opinion, if you're going to be doing a lot of skateboarding, then the generic bearings are definitely not going to be what you want. You're going to want like Bones Reds. They're about $20. So yeah, they're a little more expensive than the generic bearings, but they're going to last you a little bit longer, and you can get a maintenance kit to where you can actually oil and clean them out. But yeah, definitely, in my opinion, the generic bearings are only worth it if you're going to be skating like once a week, if less. But yeah, other than that, don't forget to like, comment, follow, and subscribe, and see you guys next video.